Hey friends, today we're gonna do a water fountain that's gonna only take 5 minutes. Okay, so this weekend I found this really cool vase at the thrift store for $5, y'all. And I have some of these D'Amico pumps with the head that kind of makes it look like more like an umbrella shape and has the light underneath. And I have a few decorative rocks just in case I need something to kind of hide in case I need to hide my pump. This is Elton. Okay. So I was really excited. This is an antique planter. The nice part about using this is it's going to be used. I'm not going to make a hole in it or anything where it would be basically useless after it became a fountain. If you want to convert it back to whatever you might, I wouldn't put anything in there. There's a lot of staining and things like that. I think that's what really makes it beautiful, but I wouldn't actually like consume anything out of here. But you could definitely use it as like a flower pot after if you wanted. But I thought it would be a beautiful water feature with very little work. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. And it's a little bit bigger than the one I usually use. I'm really actually kind of enjoying this pump. I feel like it works a lot better than some of the smaller ones. But again, it kind of depends on the situation you have and how much of a pump you can fit. But I found this one a little bit more heavy duty. So I'm really liking that part of it. And again, it's a very easy setup. You have your smaller piece that's gonna press in. Okay, so you're gonna have your smaller piece. It's gonna fit into the pump. Press that in, push this part of the pump in, and then that one. You can't get much easier than that. That's pretty much it. And remember to always try to make sure that this part is open so you don't have it spray out as soon as you turn it on. And then you can just make whatever adjustments you want. Okay, so I am gonna actually be using the LED light that comes with it on the fountain head itself. So around this part of the fountain, and then you're gonna have this part tightened up, making sure that this top is unscrewed enough to allow that water to come out when you put it in. So this is what everything looks like. And you're just simply gonna put this inside of the fountain. And then I'm probably gonna have it, figure out where your front and back is. I think maybe I'm gonna have it like this. So this would be the front facing you. And just go ahead and let's get that suctioned in to the bottom. So depending on how much you can see the pump, you can add rocks and sort of cover all that up as much as possible. I'm gonna put these larger pieces in because I honestly don't think anyone's gonna want to be like looking inside of this. It's really gonna be something that you're gonna see, and you're gonna see it on an angle, but it does help. You can go ahead and put those pebbles in there just in case for aesthetics. So you can see I have the pump centered, the light, and I also have some of those pebbles to hide that wire. And I'm probably gonna find a few more to kind of just really hide that wire. And just basically all you'll see is the light and the pipe. All right, our next step is filling up the vessel. And I would imagine this is maybe a gallon, possibly slightly more, but definitely no more than 2 gallons. I would say a gallon, gallon and a half jug. I'm gonna show you some other things that you could do to embellish this once we get it all filled up. Okay, I just wanna show you how high up I have the water, and it is gonna be right to that inside lip. I don't know if you can see that. It's right to that lip, just for now. Okay, it kind of does give you a little splash out in the beginning. And then like I said, you can slow this down. And there's a side switch too on this that you can adjust the flow. So it is going to have a lot of good noise for you. If you were to have this out on your patio, you would definitely have some good water noises and attract a lot of pollinators. Let's see if we can adjust it down a little bit. And I want to show you options of different water flow. Okay, this is a little bit lower water flow. And that's pretty nice. Let me see if I add more water, if we can get that to tone down just a smidge. All right, so let's go ahead and listen. If we add more water, is it going to take the sound of the water down because it's got less falling area to make that splashback? So let's go ahead and give that a try. So yes, definitely tones that down. Okay, so another few things you can do is add some plants to this. These just will grow in plain water. And they have been growing in plain water, so they're already acclimated. And you can just go ahead and kind of prop these in there. Kind of stay up on their own. And they will continue to grow out of this and put out babies and all the good stuff. I have several pieces from one plant that I bought. And I went ahead and ahead of time, I rinsed them off, got all the dirt off, and I put them in this little pot full of just plain water. I can't wait to see this at night. And once it's dark, I'll come back and show you an after with this running at night. And I think you're going to really enjoy it. The water keeps moving, so you're not going to really have a problem with mosquitoes, but you're welcome to put some mosquito dunks in there. It's got just enough water, sound, and trickle to just soothe you. It's just a beautiful piece. You can make it more or less. The tighter you put it, the more you're going to get more umbrella shaped. That's pretty too. So yeah, let's keep it there. And then let's come back in just probably about 30 minutes my time and like 2 seconds yours. But let's come back and see how that's all going. So while we're waiting for the sun to go down, I'm going to try a few little things in here. And one of them is I took a branch from the yard and I'm going to prop this in here so that we have something for these plants to kind of to be able to adhere to. Little places you can kind of drape the root system around before it, while it starts to get itself set up. Right now it's just a bunch of loose roots, but later on those roots will grow and be able to stabilize itself. So I'm going to put this branch in here and see if we can't make this a very natural stand for these plants while they get their feet soaked and ready and roots in the sand, or in this case the rock. You can add some plant food to this if you like. Since it won't have fish, no need for fish because you won't be able to see them. But a little plant food, a little water soluble plant food could never hurt. And like I said, let's see about getting this all lit up tonight and see what it looks like, because I think it's going to be really pretty. All right, I just want to give you a close-up of what's going on inside. And you can see these branches, they kind of go across. So I slipped in these arrowheads in between those slots and used those branches to kind of hold things in place. They kind of made a few little triangles inside, and I was able to slip the plants right inside of those, and it kind of holds them up a little bit, like I said, until they get their roots established. And you can see the light going on, and you cannot see really what's going on inside because it's flashing and it's just sort of distorted. And once the roots start to establish more, you won't be able to see any of that, but you will be able to see the light and hear the water. with the plants coming out of it. And you probably have to do very few water changes. I would say more adding water than changing water, but occasionally maybe you might want to. But the plants will sort of decay and add nutrients. And if you want to add a little bit of plant food in there, like I said, I think that would be just fine. And there's Charlotte back there sleeping. There's our Char. Hi, Charlotte. Can you see the discoloration on this pot? I think most people would think it was terrible, and I love it. There's lots of cracks and watermarks, which just to me tells the story. And you can just kind of think about where this planter's been, or this pitcher, or what they used it for over the course of the years. It's pretty old. And who knew it would one day become a water garden fountain? And it could be used for anything. I haven't altered it. It's still a beautiful antique, just reimagined. Okay guys, so here's the finished planter. I think it's really pretty. I ended up taking off the tip of the fountain because I like the way it sounds a little bit more. It sounds more like raindrops, and that's what I was looking for. But if you wanted to have a little bit more drama, you still have the option to use these tops, and you put them on, and the tighter it goes, you'll get the different flow. So, but once I took it off to adjust it, I really enjoyed just the natural sound. It's kind of trickling down this branch, and it's making it more like a raindrop sound, and I really enjoy that. And I think that these little arrowheads, they're going to start finding their way and taking over. I think it's going to be really beautiful once it's all established and has its roots. I mean, these can get pretty tall, so this could eventually be a really awesome, nice, mid-sized piece. But I do feel like you could fit this on any desk or a countertop or some type of area in your house that you would like to have a little bit of that tranquil rainwater sound. Easy peasy plants. You can just have them in the water. If you go out of town, you can make sure to unplug this, because you don't want this just running all the time if you're not home. But I would definitely unplug it, and you'd probably be fine until you get home, because it'd have enough water to sustain the plants. So it's very easy and low maintenance in that respect. And I cannot wait to show you this when the sun goes down. It's gonna be so pretty. All right, it's nighttime. The planter's still outside, and you can't really see the base, but look how cool it looks on the inside. How neat is that? So I would imagine that on a patio, maybe someplace when you're coming in home at night and you walk in and you can see this as a way of greeting you, and how beautiful that could be. Thanks for being here, everybody. And I'll be posting more of these, and I look forward to showing you some new creations. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I appreciate you.